Good morning, 8th grade math students, and welcome to virtual math class. Today we're going to be talking about finding the surface area of square pyramids. And yes, the square part does make a difference. So square pyramids have a base that is square. We're going to act like that's a perfect square. And then it comes up to a perfect peak for the triangle. So it has a square base and it has triangle for the edges. Our objective for today is the students will be able to find the surface area of square pyramids. Pretty simple, right? So the first thing that we need to know is how to find the area of a square. So the area of the square is going to be that the area equals the length times the width. So for a square, the length and the width are both going to be the same, the length and the width. Pretty simple there. I just multiply those two together. For the area of a triangle, the area equals 1/2 the base times the height, which I could say 1/2 times the base times the height. So my base of the pyramid is going to be right here, the base of the pyramid, the bottom of the pyramid. The height is going to be the height from the peak of the triangle to the base. That will be my height. And then I take 1/2 of whatever the base is and I multiply that by the height. So to find the surface area of my square pyramid, I'm going to start by finding the area of my side triangle. So my side triangle, notice that my base would be 6. And my height then is 10, or the slant height, because it's that part would be slanted. So I want the slant height. So remember that the area for my triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. So I am going to do 1/2 multiplied by 6, because that was what my base was. And then I'm going to multiply that by 10. When I do that, if I do 1/2 times 6, well, half of 6 is 3. And then I have 3 times 10. 3 times 10 is 30. So the area of my triangle is going to be 30. Now, if I have a square base, how many different triangles are there? There are 4 different triangles. So if I wanted to find the area of all 4 of my triangles, I'm simply going to do 30 times 4, because there are 4 different triangles there. And 30 times 4 equals what? 120. So the area of all of my triangles put together is going to be 120. Now, I have to find the area of the square. So for the area of the square, it's going to be the area is equal to the length times the width. So my length and my width are both 6 if I'm looking at the square base. So the area is going to equal 6 times 6. And what is 6 times 6? 36. So now I have the area of all of my triangles. The area of one triangle was 30, but then I multiplied that by 4 and I got 120. So the area of all of my triangles is 120. And the area of my square is 36. So now I simply add those areas together. So I have 120 plus 36. And what does that equal? That equals 156. And for surface area, my units, I don't have any units here, so I do units. And since I'm talking about surface area, the same as what I do for my regular area, it's 2 dimensions, so I do units squared. So my final answer is 156 units squared. Okay, so on this one, it gets a little bit tricky, only in the regard that it's giving me the height of the pyramid also. I do not need to know the height of the pyramid. That's just extra information. What I need to know is my slant height. The slant height is 17. So that's the height that I need to pay attention to. So now for the area of the triangle, remember that the area of the triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. So I take the area, I have 1/2. What is my base going to be here? 16. So I take 1/2 of 16 and then I'm multiplying it by the height. And remember, for the height of the triangle, I'm looking at the height of the side triangle, which is my slant height, which is going to be 17. So 1/2 of 16 is going to be 8. So now I have 8 times 17. And what is 8 times 17? 8 times 17 equals 136. So the area of one triangle is 136, but since I have a square base, I have 4 different triangles. So what is 136 times 4? That equals 544. So that would be the area of all 4 of my triangles. Now, I have to find the area of the base, which is that area of the square. So the area of the square, remember, is length times width. So it's a square. So if one side is 16, the other side is going to be 16 also. So I have 16 times 16. And what does 16 times 16 equal? That equals 256. So now the area equals 256. So the area of my square was 256. Now I take the area of all 4 of my triangles, which was 544, and I add that with the area of my square, which was 256. So if I take 544 plus 256, what do I get? I get 800. So my answer for my surface area is going to be 800, and here my units is inches. So it's 800 inches cubed. Squared, I'm sorry. Your answer will always be squared whenever we're talking about surface area. And one more example. So my first step is to do what? I need to find the area of my triangle sides. So for this, it tells me that my length is 8.1, which is also the same thing as my base in this case, if I'm looking at my triangle. So the area for the triangle, remember, is 1/2 base times height. So I take 1/2 times 8.1 in this case. And then my height, remember, that's the slant height, which is going to be 11.4. So now my area, I'm going to take 1/2 of 8.1, and what does that equal? That equals 4.05, and then I'm going to multiply that by 11.4. When I multiply that out, what do I get? That equals 46.17. So there is my area for my triangle. So I have 46.17. And how many different triangles do I have here? I have 4 because I have one on each side of that square. So I take 46.17 and I multiply that by 4, and that gives me 184.68. So that is my total area for all 4 triangles. Now I need to find the area of the base, which is a square. So remember that the area of a square, again, is length times width. So I am going to take my length and my width are both 8.1 because it is a square bottom, so it'll always be the same. So now I do 8.1 and I multiply that by 8.1, and what do you get? Hopefully you got the same thing as me, which would be 65.61. So now I have the area of the square, which again is 65.61. So now to find the surface area, I do what? I add both of those totals together. So I have 184.68, and I'm going to add to that 65.61. What do you get whenever you add those together? You should get 250.29. And what is my label here? It is units because I don't have a label. So I do units, and is it squared, cubed? What do I do here? It is the units squared. Remember that for the surface area, it will always be units squared. And that is my final answer. So you have already know how to find the area of a triangle, and how to find the area of a square. So really, this isn't that much harder than what you've already know how to do. It's just really one step further. So I hope that this was kind of easy to understand. If you have any questions or concerns, as always, get in contact with me however you know how. So I hope you have a great day.